Either he's outgrown the weight class because he's huge for 135, and he just spent too much time there and needs to move up, didn't get his shot, and it's too bad it's time to move up. Or he just got stale because he wasn't getting the opportunity against the kind of opposition that he feels that he deserves being in with, which happens to fighters time and time again.
Welcome into Boxing Scene's top stories on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app. Never fall behind in your boxing news. Well, it's Jimmy Smith in studio with the champs, Chris Algieri, Showtime, Shawn Porter, to discuss the lightweight division. When we talk about lightweight contenders, Raymond Muirahtaia, one of the top of that list. He gave Lance Pugmire from Boxing Scene an interview about his upcoming fight. This is what he had to say.
I mean, it's definitely exciting, man. I feel like I'm right there, man. I'm right there for opportunity for a world title. So it's exciting, man. It just keeps me motivated and just keeps me working, man. Because I can't wait to get that call, man, and just be ready for it.
When you assess the situation, do you look at it as you just want to be a champion, or do you look at it as I want to fight this guy for the belt? Are you aiming for a specific individual?
As far as just being a champion, I just want to be a champion, man. To me, it really doesn't. It don't matter who I fight. I feel like when I'm at my best, man, I'm fully prepared for a fight. I don't think anybody could beat me. So yeah, as far as that, man, I'm just motivated just to be a world champ.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, you know enough about Norman and you know about Lomachenko. You've seen these guys. Do you feel like those matchups are favorable for you when you are fighting at your best?
Absolutely, man. I think any of the top guys right now is I'm right there and I'm next in line. So I think any of those fights are going to be not easy fights. They're going to be hard fights, man. But I'm here to win, and I think I got it.
That upcoming fight on the undercard of the Conceição O'Shaquie Foster rematch, that is against Jesus Antonio Perez Campos. You saw the record at 21-0. He definitely has the numbers. He does have decent power. But where does he fit in this division? That is the question, Chris. Is he in the position when you're waiting for the call? Is he waiting on somebody else? Does he have the skill set and the following to force the hand? What's your thought on it?
Yeah, I think he's right there, just like he said. And I've been calling a lot of his fights on the way up for a while now, and he looked phenomenal for a very good stretch of time where he was overperforming, keep stepping up. And then he hit a little bit of a rough patch. The last couple of fights, he has been underperforming. And it's basically one of two things in my mind. Either he's outgrown the weight class because he's huge for 135. And he just spent too much time there and needs to move up, didn't get his shot, and it's too bad it's time to move up. Or he just got stale because he wasn't getting the opportunity against the kind of opposition that he feels that he deserves being in with, which happens to fighters time and time again. And sometimes guys get stale and they lose fights that they're not supposed to, end up never getting that shot, which is really unfortunate for guys who are talented, like a Raymond Muirahtaia really is. So I do believe he's right there. It's tough because we're in a weight class where we have a whole bunch of world champions who are undefeated, which makes no sense to me. If one of the most talented and deepest divisions in the sport today, and we got 4 guys with undefeated records who all have titles. It doesn't make any sense to me. Then you got a guy like Muirahtaia who's on the outside looking in, and it's really unfortunate. But I hope that he gets his shot soon because I don't want to see him be a kind of guy who, because of he's left out, he gets stale and ends up catching a loss that really shouldn't have happened.
A lot of people calling for a showdown with his top-ranked stablemate, Keyshawn Davis. What's your thought on that and the potential matchups that will get him where he wants to be? What's your thought, Shawn?
Yeah, the first thing that Chris said was that he was huge for the weight class. I remember when I first saw Muirahtaia, I thought he was a 47-pounder.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole fight, and at the end, they announced him as a lightweight. And I was like, it's impossible for this dude to be this big. Also points to what Chris said. It's possible that he could be growing out of the weight class and doing a bit more that needs to be done in training just to get his weight down, and then he's not able to fire off as sharply as he was earlier on in his career. I would hate for that to be the case, but bearing all that, he's big enough, he's strong enough, he's fast enough, and I think he's good enough for just about anybody in the lightweight division. Of course, the number one guy we think of is Tank Davis. More than likely won't get a Tank. We know the side of the fence situation going on there. But then when you look back at a guy like Keyshawn Davis, Is this fight too soon for either of those guys? I don't believe so. I think that this fight is right on time, and it's very possible for him to trump a guy like Keyshawn Davis, who still has some holes in his offense, who's very, very arrogant in the ring. I know you need to be arrogant as a boxer, but I feel that Keyshawn gets a little too arrogant in the ring sometimes and causes himself to get hit. You don't want to get hit by Mordecai, man. That kid, has got some serious pop, and he's got some size. He can wear a lot of what Keyshawn has thrown at other guys. Mordecai can wear that and bring some back himself. So I think that's a really good fight for the division, and maybe a fight we see next year.
You know, it's one of the things you always bring up, Chris, is a fighter wants to look good, but don't look great. There's a certain kind of line you have to walk in order to get the fight you want. When it comes to his showdown with Jesus Campos, what is your thought on how good he needs to look? Does he need to look like he's put all of the problems or the flat performances behind him, or does he want to look good, not great? What's your thought on it, Chris?
I mean, it's tough, man. You can't go out there trying not to look too good and end up catching a loss or getting hurt. Listen, I don't care who you're fighting. Fighting is dangerous. Boxing is dangerous. If he can hit you, he can hurt you. If he can hurt you, he can stop you. And we're not looking to take any loss. We're not looking to take any unnecessary punishment. So for Mordecai, he's got to go out there and he's got to, he can right the ship and get out there and get a good win. I agree with Sean. I think that Keyshawn Davis fight is heading to happening probably sooner than later. And it's a great matchup. Timing-wise, I think it's great for both guys. This is that classic prospect versus prospect matchup that needs to happen in every young guy's career whose future is the championship level. And I'd be really curious to see how they would match up. Very, very different fight. Keyshawn more of a stylist and Mordecai more of a physical fighter, but also still very, very classy, technical, and fundamental. Great matchup, man. I do like it. I would lean towards Mordecai in terms of his power. But I think boxing ability, probably Keyshawn. But yeah, I'd be hard pressed to pick a winner in that fight. I think it's a really good matchup, and as you said, Champ, I think the timing's right. But in terms of his next fight, man, he's got to go out there and handle business.
Well, at 27 years old, not old, but not young, especially for the lightweight division. So, Showtime, your thought on how long he can stay in that division? Late 20s, you start gaining a little bit of man strength, a little bit of man muscle. It's hard to stay in that division. Do you see him staying there past, let's say, another year or so?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny when we have a goal to become a champion, whatever division it is that we're told we're supposed to be in, or whatever division we decide to be in, it's almost like this unwritten code. I can't leave here until I realize this goal. So my guess, my bet is that he would suck himself into the weight class as long as he can until he can realize that goal. Outside of a big fight, him being told that he's going to get a big fight for a world championship at 140, he's going to stay at 135 as long as he needs to.
Is it a failure in the division? Last one for you, Chris. You talked about the undefeated guys. When does this get sorted out to you and we get that number one guy in the division? How long do you think that's going to take?
Jimmy, if I knew answers like that, I wouldn't be sitting right here.
You'd be playing the lottery and you'd be a rich man.
That's right.
It's exactly what would happen. We try to predict the future here at Pro Box TV. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but as the lightweight division unfolds, once again, some of those undefeated guys lose their it'll make boxing news, and you see it right here on Pro Box TV. But we got our passports ready for Ireland. Do not miss it right here on Pro Box TV, November 1st.
November 1st, Pro Box TV makes its European debut in collaboration with Conlan Boxing. This stacked card starts with hometown fighter Padraig the Hammer McCrory returning to the ring to take on the hard-hitting Colombian Leonard Carrillo. And in the co-main, the UK's Robbie Davies Jr. clashes with former two-weight world champ Javier Fortuna of the Dominican Republic. Live from the SSE Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
For more Pro Box TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. Pro Box TV, your boxing channel.